Do you hear me? Okay. For this week, we will investigate chapter number 7, representing web data with XML. Have you an idea about XML? So XML stands for what? So XML is a web technology. We can use it with HTML, with servlet, with any other web technology. Extensible, yes, very good. So XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. Extensible Markup Language. Yes. XML was designed to store and transport data. So if we want to store data for a web application, we can use XML. XML also used to transport data. Okay? This is an example of XML document. So this example is composed by what here? We have text, hello world, and text. Yes. So XHTML is an example of XML document. Here we can find text also. So in this example, the text is hello world. Okay? And text with less and high. This is what? Is a tag. Yes, very good, very good. Is a markup language. So an XML document is one that follows certain syntax rules. Yes. Most of which we followed for XHTML. So keep in mind that when we want to store or transport data, we can use XML. It is clear? And when we want to create an XML document, we have to follow certain syntax rules. Let's move now to these rules. The first rule is an XML document consists of two things, markup and character data. Markup can be tags or references, and character data is everything not markup. For tags which begin with less and end with high or more. An example of tags. Can you give me an example of tags? BR is an example of XHTML document. Title. So here in our example, text is an example of tag. In our previous example, this is an example of tag. References which begin with and end with the semicolon. This is an example of a reference. character, for example, and arch x20 semicolon. This is to represent what? This reference represents what? This reference is used to represent space character. So in XHTML we can use MBSP. Okay. This entity, so we can use character as reference or entity. So this is, for example, represents what? Represents this special character, less than. So the entities LT, GT, AMP, EPOS, code are recognized in every XML document. Other XHTML entities such as MBSP are only recognized in other XML documents if they are defined in the DTD. So DTD is what? DTD stands for what? DTD stands for Document Type Definition. Document Type Definition. So for the first rule, keep in mind that an XML document consists of two things, markup and character data. And for markup, we can find tags or references. A reference can be represented as a character or as an entity. It is clear? The first rule is clear? Good. Let's move now to the second one, comments. Begin with this character and with this character. And a comment must not contain minus. So this is an example of a comment in XML document. Okay. Third rule, see data section. So in XML document we can find a see data section. So what's the meaning of see data? It is a special element, the entire content of which is interpreted as character data, even if it appears to be markup. And to create a see data section, we can write, this is the begin of the see data section, and this is the end of the see data section. So the end is illegal except when ending see data section. It is clear, see data section? So see data section is a special element, the entire content of which is interpreted as character data. This is an example of see data section. So in XML document we can find this section. So in this example, all this content will be interpreted as a character data and not as a tag. So in this example we write message, this and that, and message. So if we will write message, this and that, and message without begin see data and end see data, in this case, this message will be considered as an element in XML document with the tag message, with the content this and that, and with the end of message. And perhaps this element will produce an error because we write and here without the special entity of to create this and. If we include this message between begin C data and end C data, that means this message will be considered as a character. So all this is equivalent to write in XML document this text. So in this text, this is represents this character, and this one represents this character. This one represents this character. This one represents this character, and this one represents this character. It is clear? The fourth XML syntax rule is less and must be represented by references except when begin markup. So when we begin markup, we write message like this. So we can use this character as a begin of markup. We then comment also in a comment when we write a comment like this. We can use this character in the comment, or within C data section. Also into a C data section, we can write this character. Also the same for and here in the comment and in the C data section. Any questions about the fourth rule for XML syntax? Are you here? Do you hear me? Rule number 5, element tags and elements. So there are 3 types of element tags. The first one is the start, like message, the end, for example, end message, and the empty element, for example, BR. So BR is an empty element. So start and end tags must be properly nested. For example, here, if we have like this A, B, and B and A, this is okay as. But if I write A, B, and A and B, this is not correct. It is clear? So the corresponding pair of start and end element tags plus everything in between them define an element. So for example, here we write message title and title and message So all this represent element. It is clear? Okay. The third point, character data may only appear within an element. So character data may only appear within an element. So for example, we have here A. This is a character data, and A. This is B. This is a character data, and B. We cannot find here a character data. So this is incorrect. So the character data here, the third rule, character data may only appear within an element. Any questions about rule number 5? Rule number 6. Start and empty element tags may contain attribute specification separated by white space. For example, syntax name equal quoted value. So quoted value, the last point is not clear. Yes. So character data may only appear within an element. So for example here, this is an XML document. A student, for example, and A, B, Ahmed, and B. So this is a character data. Ahmed is a character data, student is a character data. So a character data must be included between begin and end tag. We cannot find here, for example, Ali. After that here, A, Muhammad, and A. So Ali, like this, is an error. It is clear? No problem. So it is clear now? Good. Let's move to rule number 6. Start and empty element tags may contain attribute specifications separated by white space. The syntax is name equal quoted value. So quoted value must not contain this character, can contain and only if used as start of reference, and quoted value must begin and end with matching quote characters. So for this rule, for example here, if I write the tag B, if I write B X equal 5, for example, Ali and B. This is the attribute. So in this attribute, I can, for example, write X equal, for example, and, but and here, if it is a reference, for example, X20, this is a reference. So the end here is allowed if I will write a reference like this. Okay. Also, for this attribute, I can write, for example, x equal 5. Here I use this character, and here I use another character. This is an error. This is error. I can write x equal 5 like this, or x equal 5 like this. I have to use the same character here, the same one. It is clear? So keep in mind that start and empty element tags may contain attribute specifications separated by white space. Quoted value must not contain, this character can contain and only if used at start of reference, and quoted value must begin and end with matching quote characters. Good. Rule number 7. Element and attribute names are case sensitive. So in XML document, when I write, for example, name like this as a tag, is different than name. So in element and attribute names are case sensitive. Rule number 8. XML white space characters are space, carriage return, line fed, and tab. So there are 4 XML white space characters: space, carriage return, line fed, and tab. So let's review together all these rules. So XML stands for Extensible Markup Language, and in XML document is one that follows certain syntax rules. What are these rules? The first one in XML document consists of markup and character data. The second one, we can use comments in XML document using a special begin and a special end, and a character must not contain minus minus. The third rule is CData section. So if we want to create a character data, so using tags, etc., and this data will not considered as tags, we can use CData. So CData is a special element, the until content of which is interpreted as character data. Rule number 4. Less and end must be represented by reference except when beginning markup within comments and within CData section. Rule number 5. There are 3 types of element tags: start and empty. Rule number 6. Start and empty element tags may contain attribute specifications separated by white space. Number 7, element and attribute names are case sensitive. And number 8, XML white space characters are space, carriage return, line fed, and tab. Let's move now to XML documents. to define what's the meaning of a well-formed XML document. So a well-formed XML document is a document that follows the XML syntax rules. This is the first condition. The second condition is has a single root element. Has a single root element. So to say that this document is a well-formed XML document, we have to follow all the XML syntax rules, and this document has a single root element. So well-formed documents have a tree structure and many XML parsers. So XML parser is a software for reading and writing XML documents. So these parsers use tree representation internally. Any questions about this slide? It is clear what's the meaning of a well-formed XML document? So this is an example of XML tree structure. So this XML document, or the corresponding XML document to this tree structure, can be considered as a well-formed XML document. Yes or no? Yes. So we have only one rule. So what is the one root? Sorry. What is the root of this XML document? What is the root of XML bookstore? Very good. This is the root of this XML document. And how many child has this root? How many child? Only one. Very good. Only one child. So here, if I want to write this XML, the corresponding XML document, I will write here book star, and after that I have book as a child with an attribute. The attribute is category. So category here is an attribute, category of book, so without value, empty value. It is clear? So book is the child of bookstore, and bookstore is the parent of book. After that, how many child has book? Four. So we can find title, author, year, and price. This clear? So the value of title here is everyday Italian. Here the value of title is everyday Italian. Okay. So title and author can be considered as siblings. So title, author, year, and price can be considered as siblings. So title has yes, title has an attribute, yes. Title, the attribute of title is lang for language. Yes, title has also an attribute. So if I want to write title, I will write title like this with attribute lang equal. After that, everyday Italian is the text. After that, and title. Any questions about this example? Okay. So an XML document is written according to an XML vocabulary. So this is very important, the XML vocabulary that defines recognized element and attribute names, allowable element content, and semantics of elements and attributes. For example, here, for our previous example, the vocabulary of this example contains bookstore, book, year, price, author, title as tags, lang as an attribute of title, category as an attribute of book, etc. So XHTML here is one widely used XML vocabulary, is an example of XML vocabulary. Another example is RSS. So RSS is the abbreviation of Rich Site Summary. Rich Site Summary. Let's see together an example of an RSS document. This is an RSS document. It is clear the meaning of XML vocabulary. Okay. I want to create an XML document, so I will write, for example, rad and rad. And for rad here, I want to create X and X, Y and Y. So in this example, I use 3 tags, rad, X, and Y. And I define X and Y as children of rad. Yes or no? So in this example, I cannot create a rad tag, X tag, Y tag because there is a vocabulary here. And in this vocabulary, I can find the possible elements or tags that can be used to create this document. In our example, the possible tags are R, X, and Y. For example, I cannot write here W. So W cannot be used as a tag. Why? Because W is not here in the vocabulary. I cannot see W in this vocabulary. So if I want to create an XML document, I have to prepare the vocabulary to this XML document. For example, in XHTML, I can write A as a tag, EMG as a tag, H1, H2, H6. I cannot write H7 as a heading because in the vocabulary of XHTML, I can find only H1, H2, H3, H5, H6, and H5 and H6. I cannot find H7. So what's the meaning of a vocabulary? When I will write an XML document, this XML document is written according to the XML vocabulary. And this vocabulary defines the recognized element and attribute names. For example, in XHTML, a recognized element is IMG, and attribute names are src, the source, alt, width, high, etc. Allowable element content and semantics of elements and attributes. So what's the meaning of src? What's the meaning of alt, etc.? It is clear now. So XHTML can be considered as an XML vocabulary. Another example, RSS. So RSS can be considered as an XML vocabulary. RSS is the abbreviation of Rich Site Summary. Let's see together this example. So this is an example of RSS. Can you give me some examples of tags in RSS document? Title is a tag, very good. Title. Channel is a tag. Title is a tag. Link is a tag. Description is another tag. Item is a tag. So here this is the root. RSS is a root. This is the version of RSS. That means here we will use this version. In this version we can find these tags: channel, title, link, description, item. In other version, for example, RSS equal 1, there are some, probably we can find some other tags. Language also is a tag. Yes. It is clear. So valid names and content for an XML vocabulary can be specified using three manners: using natural language, using XML document type definition, DTD, or using XML schema. So there are three manners to define this vocabulary: natural language, XML document type definition, and XML schema. So if document type definition is used, then XML document can include a document type declaration. So for example here, we can include a document type declaration. So to include a document type declaration, we use doc type. For RSS, for example here, the doc type that will be used is RSS 0.91.dtd. So DTD is the extension of a document type definition, .dtd. A document type definition. So in this DTD we can find all valid names of and contents of an XML. So in this example we will find all the tags: channel, title, link, description, item, etc. This is the version of RSS. For this example we will use the same version. Any questions about DTD? So DTD is a file. The extension of this file is DTD, and you will use this file as an XML vocabulary. Let's move now to XML parser. So what is the meaning of an XML parser? XML parser is a software for reading and writing XML documents. So XML parser is a software for reading and writing XML documents. And there are two types of XML parsers: validating and non-validating. There are two types. For validating, when my XML parser is a validating one, validating, that means requires document type declaration, the DTD file. And this parser generates error if document does not conform with DTD. An example of error: for example, we use a tag, and this tag is not, we cannot find this tag in the DTD file. This is an error. And meet XML validity constraints. For example, every attribute value of type ID must be unique within the document. This is a constraint. The ID, we cannot find two ID attributes with the same value in an HTML document. This is a constraint. So our parser is a validating parser. In this case, it can use the DTD file to generate error if document does not conform with this DTD file and meet XML validity constraints. The second type of XML parser is non-validating. So non-validating checks that in input XML is well formatted. What's the meaning of well formatted? What's the meaning of XML is well formatted? Yes, so for the first point, follow the rules, and second point, contains only one root. So well formatted, follows the rules, and and a single root, one root. So for non-validating XML parser, it checks only that the input XML is well formatted. After that, in your external DTD, in this case, non-validating parser runs faster than validating one. It is clear? Okay. So a good practice to begin XML documents with a special tag XML declaration. So this is an XML declaration, a minimal example. To declare an XML document, we will use this XML declaration with only the version of this XML declaration 1.0 in our example. If included, this must be very first character of the document. In this declaration, we can override default UTF-8 and UTF-16 character encoding. So we can add encoding declaration. So my declaration will be XML with the attribute version 1.0 and with the attribute encoding, and here we will specify the character encoding. In my example, the character encoding is ISO 8859-1. So this is how we can declare my XML document. Any questions? Let's move now to XML namespaces. So XML namespace is a collection of element and attribute names associated with an XML vocabulary. So namespace name is the absolute URI, that is the name of the namespace. Sorry, I don't understand your question, Hint. Yes. XML namespace is a collection of element and attribute names associated with an XML. So the namespace here is used to say what are the tags that will be used in my XML document. For example, this is the name of the namespace, the name of XHTML namespace. In this namespace, I will find the A tag, EMG tag, SRC attribute, etc. So a namespace is a collection of element and attribute names associated with an XML vocabulary. So we discussed in the previous slides what's the meaning of XML vocabulary. Now how we can integrate this vocabulary in XML document. We can integrate this vocabulary with the attribute XML namespace. So the default namespace for elements of a document is specified using a form of the XML namespace attribute. So here, for example, when I write HTML XML namespace equal http www.w3.org 1999 XHTML, that means all the tags that will be used in this document can be found in the namespace XHTML. It is clear?